Hello, welcome to Real United Talk. It's Friday nights, and we got tonight joining. We've got Diedrich. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. Just had a really good career. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm quite envious of what you just had to eat, actually, because it did look nice. We've a lad that we've been linked to that you know a fair bit about, or you know of. What's his name? Where's he from? Is it Sevilla, you mentioned? Hi, Mark, you're right. Oh,
Yep. Sorry, it's just a bit of technical
yeah.
difficulty straight away as soon as we've started there, but I've switched across. Go on.
All right, mate. Yeah, but the guy that we're linked to, the guy from Sevilla.
Right. Sergio Regulion. I believe I can't pronounce his name. Forgive me if I've mispronouncing that one. I'm sure people in the live comment section will do. He's left back who actually plays for Real Madrid. He was spent last season on loan at Sevilla. As you'll know, they knocked us out of the Europa League semi-final. Apparently, Man United have been linked to, I think, ESPN and a journalist called Alex Turk, who's Manchester-based, has said that we're talking to Real Madrid about it, but the word apparently is that he's going to be going straight back to Seville, and any deal that would have brought him to Manchester United or Seville would have included a buyback clause anyway, because as you know, the Spanish giants, Real Madrid and Barcelona, tend to, when they do sell the younger players, they do tend to include buyback clauses. You know, the likes of the Della Feus and Jose, I can't remember his name, who ended up going to Stoke and PSG. They do tend to add the buyback clauses in, so for that reason, I wouldn't be taking him. But there's no point having somebody that might turn into a world beater and then Real Madrid come and snatch him back off us for 20 million.
Yeah, it's
I think
I
they
mean,
gave him a
he's
rooster as well.
not someone you'd want to take then.
I wouldn't, because like I said, there's no longevity in it. I unless it's a quick fix, you know, like the likes of Van Persie's and stuff like that, where it's instant success. I do like to sometimes play the long game.
Yeah,
You've got to think sometimes, you know, if there needs to be longevity in it. This is why whether the rumours were true about the whole Haaland thing, him having a release clause and thing, I would have stayed away from that one as well if that were true. I don't see a point in having played because you're basically loaning him for 2 years, aren't you?
that's a good point actually. Yeah, I think you don't think of it like that, do you? Big news today. Big, truthful, hurtful news in some way. Alexis Sanchez. I asked to leave United after one training session. I just want to read what he said because he took to Instagram yesterday night, apparently, to get across his side of the story. Basically saying he accepted the opportunity to go to United. It felt tempting and it was something good for me. I liked this club a lot when I was a kid. Eventually I signed, but I didn't ask for information on things that you don't realise until you get there. And I remember the first training session I had, I realised a lot of things. After the session, I got home and I told my family and my agent, "Can you not rip up the contract so I can go back to Arsenal?" They lied. They lied. They laughed. I told them there's something that doesn't sit right. It doesn't seem good. But I already signed. I was already there. After the first few months, I carried on having the same feelings. We weren't united as a team in that moment. Now, a lot of people put that right, put the blame of his form down to Mourinho because Mourinho was a defensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the stuff then, I mean, these are his own words. A lot of the stuff that was written by the papers and, you know, all the gossip that was around social media is obviously, you know, total crap by his own admission. He's come out and said, to me, I find that quite disrespectful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
not just towards the club, but I think towards Mourinho in a roundabout way as well, because there was a lot of money involved in terms of wages with this deal. And for him to say that after one training session is basically not even giving it a chance. So for me, I don't like it. He scored 5 goals in about 45 appearances, a total shadow of the player that was at Barcelona and Arsenal. It didn't work out. I think I've said before, I think it's one of United's worst ever deals and worst buys, at that club for many a year. What do you think?
Well, you see, you've got to look at it a number of ways. I mean, yes, granted, the Alexis Sanchez that we got wasn't the same one he'd done at previous clubs. You know what I mean? He always had the talent, but it's just his work rate wasn't there. I mean, what a lot of people tend to forget is Man United actually Ferguson wanted to sign him when he was at Udinese before he even went to Barcelona. So obviously everybody's seen something in him, and the form of him at Arsenal and Bayern, Barcelona, and even at Inter Milan, he's kind of resurrected his career a little bit. I mean, it's a difficult one because I don't agree with what you said. Like I said, after one day saying, I want to rip up my contract because. Let's be honest, he wasn't originally going to be coming to Manchester United. He was originally going to Man City. Basically, Mourinho did what Mourinho does. He hijacked the deal to try and get one over on Pep Guardiola, and it was a very expensive hijack. Let's be completely honest about that. I mean, I'm sure maybe that doesn't sit right with Alexis Sanchez still, because he might still think, you know what, I'd rather have a Premier League medal rather than having this money now, kind of. And his career might not have gone the way it did. But he wasn't the only player that was unhappy at the club. There's been other players that have come out and said that something wasn't sitting right at the time. So there was a bad team spirit. Even when Mourinho left, you even had the likes of club officials saying it feels happy again now, like the likes of the bloody tea lady coming out and saying it feels like a happy place again now. And you can see that in Mourinho. You can see that. Even at Tottenham, sometimes at previous clubs, as soon as things start going his own way.
Yeah.
Soothing madman and samurai rigs. As soon as Mourinho's well done, is Mourinho will win you titles and stuff like that, but Mourinho is not the one to get you out of a rut. I've yet to see Mourinho get into a rut and crawl his way out at Chelsea. First time round, as soon as things started going bad, they literally just tailed off so badly. So Inter Milan, they never got the chance to do that. Happened at Real Madrid. Happened at Chelsea again the second time. As soon as he gets into a rut and a spiral, there's no pulling him out. So I think it was just a case of it was going to happen. And any player that would have come in at that time would have probably struggled as well. Because, I mean, I thought he did okay under Ole. After that, but it was still a chance of a shadow of his former self. So not to drag on, but I don't know. I really don't know where I sit with it. I don't like the idea that the guy's speaking out. In a sense, I believe some things should be left behind closed doors, especially when you're on the money that he was on. But at the same time, I can understand it because if Pogba left in a month's time. And then he came out and said, "Oh, I wasn't enjoying United at the time under Mourinho." We'd all be like, "Oh, yeah, we kind of know."
Yeah. It don't sit right with me, mate. I just think I'm very old school in the fact that I think behind things should be private. I don't agree with a lot of the things that are across social media and the speculation and the lies. It makes things out to be something that it's not, just for news. And sometimes I get the feeling that these players come out and feel like they have to justify themselves to reporters, just to keep things on the quiet. And I don't agree with it. I think it's their business. If they've negotiated a contract for that amount of money, it's ridiculous. I don't agree with it, but it's their contract. It's if that's what. There is something else I want to talk about, though. Mark's brought it up in the comments. Greenwood, number 11, and Williams to 33.
33.
Yeah, I'm not. Is that official? Is it? I did read it this morning.
I haven't seen. I don't tend to follow
I
the
don't think the numbers have come
Twitter
out yet,
account.
have they?
Yeah, I don't. I think it might just be a case of it's common knowledge, but I haven't seen anything official. But I don't tend to follow the Man United. I do follow it, but as soon as I don't never tend to read it because half the time it's a lot of bollocks anyway. Look at this goal we scored against Fulham in 2001. Oh, get in.
I think there's some significance to that if Greenwood gets the 11, because that will show to me that he will be, after his breakthrough season last season, he'll be a regular starter this season. I can't see Ollie sitting the number 11 on the bench at all. And I think it will probably be he'll be him, Rashford and Martial will probably be his front three as well going into this season. I can't see him changing formation. I can't see him altering his tactics. And I think if he gets that number 11 shirt, there's something about it. I just think that number 11 Giggsy shirt has to be in the starting 11 no matter what. Let's say Kylie says it's official. United Twitter tweet. Oh, okay, mate. All right. Cheers, Kylie. Martin says, if I got paid $500,000, I would hold something else.
I would. I'd be dead.
Kylie says if he got paid $500,000 every week, I'd hold my tongue. I'm going to bring that up in a minute, Martin, the Fosu Mentor thing, because I want to talk about that as well.
It's probably the fact if this was somebody that was only on 100 grand, would we all be as outraged? We wouldn't be, would we? It's just the fact that he has big money. Chances are we'd all be like, we agree with you. It was a bad time to play for Man United at the time. We've got to look at it. We've got to look at two sides of the story on that one.
Yeah, I just think. People are saying now. Matter is number 8, says Harty. Greenwood is the first person since Giggs to have the number 11 shirt after Adnan and Martial.
Oh, he is. Sorry.
Kylie would still be outraged. I just think, sometimes I remember that spell when when Sanchez was getting shopped around a lot, moved out to the left, he wouldn't go out on the right.
Yeah, there was the whole thing whole, is it in his contract that he can only play off the left? And
it was, people saying, oh, it's in his contract that he can only play on the left-hand side. And, it just... So can players actually put that in their contracts? I don't ever want to be substituted. I'm only allowed to play on the left. No, mate, you're told where to fucking play on the pitch by the manager. It's as simple as that.
There's always going to be little weird conspiracy theories. There isn't there? Other fan channels always come up with them. I remember when they always said that it was in Rooney's contract that he couldn't be substituted and stuff like that. And I don't believe it. I don't believe managers would even have that would even allow things like that. I mean, if I was a manager and the player said, "Look, I want in my contract, you can't substitute me," I'd be like, "All right, then. So if you break a leg, you're staying on."
Well, this is it, mate. This is it. And I mean, Hart's brought it up here. He should have ripped up the contract if he wanted to. I mean, you see what's going on with Messi. If you don't like it that bad, buy yourself out of it. You've got enough money behind you. If he didn't want to be there after that one training session, he could have said, "Look, I don't feel right. I don't think this is a good move. I wanted to go to City, but it was only the wages that were the problem. Can't we sort something out?" And I don't know whether Mourinho would have been too stubborn to allow that to happen or whatnot, or would have took a hit on money. I don't know, but
so as a fan though, if a player did that to you, they'd be rioting. He'd never be able to come to Old Trafford even to play there. That would be like the ultimate betrayal. That would be like worse than what John Obi Mikel did. At least he never came trained.
What's Kylie on about here? Talking of conspiracy theories, there is one going around TikTok that in the original Wizard of Oz, a munchkin was hanging from a tree, in a scene. Jamie Gaming Sports.
That one there.
Jamie Gaming Sports says, Marcus, love you from United stand. Sure, yeah, mate. Yeah. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Welcome to the show as well. So yeah, just want to say thanks for everyone for joining. Martin and Mark, Kylie, Jamie's here. Carl, so look, Jay Hart, Casper was here. I saw just now. So let's get into the title of the show then. This is a fans. I want everyone involved in this in the comments as well. This isn't a predicted starting 11. This is a fans 11 out of what we've got now. So in terms of that, forget about injuries, forget about contracts, right? What we've got at that club now, who would you want to start in each position? Diedrich, I'll go first. We'll start with obviously the goalkeeper.
It's going to be Lee Grant, isn't
it? Sorry, mate. I'm going to go in goal for us. I want to see Henderson. That might come as a shock to some people, but I'm getting absolutely fucking sick of seeing De Gea the last 3 seasons.
See, I thought you'd have picked Lee Grant. Is my
Jamie's gone for Henderson. Kylie's gone for what's that?
I'm saying, is my feed okay? It seems to be going like off.
No, that's fine. Oh. Jamie's gone for Henderson. Kylie's gone for De Gea. Hart's gone Henderson. Kylie says one last chance. No, mate, I think 3 seasons is enough. Mum's gone for De Gea. Martin's Henderson. Mark says Joel Pereira.
Just got out on loan.
Akil, welcome, mate. He says De Gea. I mean, that's your pick, isn't it? You got Romero, Lee Grant, Henderson, De Gea.
Yeah, Romero's close to going 8 million to Villa, isn't it?
Well, at this moment in time, he's here. So, who are you going for, mate?
It's not going to be him, is it? I kind of sit on the fence on this one, but I think
this is your 11, right? This is forget what everyone else. This is what you want.
In an ideal world, I'd want Henderson, but it's not an ideal world, is it? And the last thing you'd want is throwing Henderson first game of the season. He drops the ball, and everyone goes, "Look, I told you." So I'd probably go for De Gea.
You go for De Gea, right? I think right back is going to be unanimous. I think Wan-Bissaka, he's really the only one for me that goes there. Wan-Bissaka for you, Diedrich?
Yep.
Yeah. Comments? Who are you going for right back? Let's see. You got Wan-Bissaka, you got Delo at the minute. Fosu Mensah can be there.
You've even got Williams that way.
Carly's gone with Delo. Centre back pairing, right? Now we'll do this as a 2, right? I'm going for Maguire, and I'm going for Eric Bailly. I think Eric Bailly brings more to the table than what Lindelof does, right? And like I said before, forget injuries, right? Forget the injury situations. I just think in the air, positional, speed, fucking great tackler. Don't give a shit, mate. For me, that's my centre back pairing.
Has Maguire been sent back to Greece to go to prison yet or not?
No.
I don't want to be playing him and then having to fucking Shawshank Redemption my way out of this one. So I reckon, I'd go for Maguire and Lindelof.
Okay, right. There's a few going in here. Jay Hart's going Ethan Laird at right back. Martin went for Wan-Bissaka. Mark went Wan-Bissaka. Carly went Delo. Centre back. Uthman Carno's not here, Harty, so you can't have that one. Carly went Maguire and Mengi. Mark went Maguire Twanzebe. Jamie went Maguire Lindelof. Martin went Lindelof and Bailly. Okay. Mum went Lindelof and Bailly. Yeah. Akil says if Ollie wants to involve Henderson in the starting 11, it's better to do it when the fans are not there, less pressure, but can't see Ollie benching De Gea in the first game. You never know, mate. You never know. Hart says he'll be in the squads. Left back.
Brandon Williams.
I'm going with Williams as well, mate. I think he's great. I think going forward, he's fantastic. I think defensively, mate, he's got a bit to learn, but there's progress there. You can see that after this season. He's quick. He likes to tackle. Brandon Williams over Shaw for me, without doubt. BIP Mark says Shaw. Martin says Shaw. Williams for Kylie. Williams for Hart. Shaw for Jamie. George Cole says Sue Regulion. Sergio
Regulion.
That's the guy you was talking about earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Who you going for, Mum? Shaw. Right, Mum's going for Shaw.
Akil says, calm down. Get her on. Pull her into the shot.
Akil says Shaw if he's fit. Jamie says, can't believe you're dissing Shaw like that, mate. I just think Brandon Williams is better at left back. CDM. Would you say that our midfield three plays asymmetrical, I suppose is the word? Or do you think they play as a flat three in there?
You see, if I was doing this, I wouldn't play a CDM. I'd have two centre midfielders and then one slightly ahead as a 10.
As a triangle, then, yeah?
Yes, as a triangle.
Okay, right. Well, let's go with that now. We'll go as a
Christmas tree formation.
Yeah.
No, I'd play obviously Van der Beek and Pogba as the two centre midfielders. Obviously, one stays, one goes, vice versa, and then I'd play Bruno in the 10 as well.
Kylie says to Jamie, "If you want, I can give you hours of why Shaw is not good enough." Jamie, don't have that. Don't take that offer. Whatever you do, don't take that offer. Right, so we'll do it as a triangle then, yeah, in the midfield.
I mean, you might want to play CDM.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Right. So the two central midfielders then, I think the first one for me is I think it's got to be Van der Beek and Pogba in there. I think Van der Beek, I don't think he's coming at United to sit on the bench at all. What I saw of him in the Champions League last season, the odd bits that I've watched of him, I think that guy can play anywhere in that midfield three, to be honest. I don't see him taking Bruno's spot. I think possibly he's coming in, and I think Pogba will be beside him, and I think Bruno will be at the top. Yeah, is that what you think?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it'll be. I don't think we're going to have them both bombing into the box to join the attack, but I think it's going to be 1-6, 1 goals, and then the next attack, right? I'll go, you sit. You've just seen something. I can see you smirking.
Yeah, someone's just thought I was 60. Cheers for that, mate. I'll take that as a compliment.
Everyone, to be fair, Marcus, I'm gonna side with Jamie on this one. Up until when you did your face reveal on that show with him, I honestly thought you were as well. So
yeah, it's the voice, mate. I've got a very deep voice.
It is. I thought you were from Norwich as well. Not Norwich, Cornwall for when I first heard your accent. I'm not with accent, so.
Yeah, I lived down there. Started off in London, and then my dad was working on the railways. We moved down to Devon for about 14 years, and then went back to London, and I come back up here. So
that's probably where the Cornish twang comes in, then, because they're quite close together, aren't they, Devon and Cornwall?
Yeah. Hart thought Hart thought I was an old woman with a sore throat. Yeah, I think that. I mean, for me, that's my midfield three. I think I can honestly see Matic or Fred going. I think one of them might go because you've got 3 CDMs in there with McTominay as well.
I was going to say, would you not? What about McTominay? Would you not maybe see him go out on loan? Because I mean, at United, we're almost spoilt for choice in midfield, and that's not normally a thing that you'd associate with us, would you? But you've also got the likes of Levitt and Gardner trying to get into that as well.
No, I think McTominay's too good going line, mate. To be honest, I think he's already established himself in that first, in that first team. I would rather think he's like catching up, but he's got the experience, hasn't he? I know Carly don't like Fred. He says there Fred's a useless player. And Mark says as well, Fosu Mensah is in that. You got to give him a shout in there as well as a CDM. I think he's made for CDM, to be honest, Fosu Mensah. He's built like a tank, mate.
If we're going to be giving any of the youngsters a chance, besides thinking, like I said, those two I'd mentioned, Levitt, Garner, Levitt. I think Levitt, from what I've seen of him in like the few youth games I'd seen, like prior to all this happening, he keeps all the ball so well. It literally reminds me so much of Carrick. It literally, his pass completion rate is ridiculous. And same for Gardner. I think he scored for us on loan. On pre-season. I think if those two don't get more chances this season, there's something wrong.
Let's have a look here. Let's see. Martin says Matic and Pogba. Kylie's gone for Matic as well. Mark's gone for Matic. Mum's gone for Matic. Let's have a look. Mark mentioned Fosu Mensah. Martin says Levitt is mint. Jamie says Levitt's not ready. And he also says McSauce is underrated. I agree with Jamie there. I do think Scott McTominay's underrated.
But I mean, people say Levitt's not ready. I would not have expected McTominay to be ready when he first came in, and I would not have expected Williams to even get a sniff this season. Like I said, if anybody were going to come through, I'd have thought it would have been Ethan Laird.
Yeah. There was rumblings, though, wasn't there, that Laird was supposed to come through ahead of Williams, wasn't it?
Yeah, Laird was
Williams got the nod.
But I think Laird got injured. So that made that Williams got in, because apparently Lloyd is actually better than Williams.
Yeah,
it's just
Williams supposed to be a right
back. Yeah, Williams can play across both, can't he? But I mean, I heard a certain somebody say over there that Williams will never be a good left back because he's right footed. I'm sure there was an Irishman who played for us at left back who were right footed.
Right. Yeah, there was actually once upon a time.
They were pretty good as well.
Jamie says we need Van der Beek on the bench. Mate, I don't see him being on the bench. I really don't. I think he's energetic. He can play anywhere in Ollie's midfield three. Mark says Matic offers stability, whereas Donny is an unknown in our team and the Prem. I think you'll hit the ground running. I do. Was he 22, 23, that lad? My God, I think he's he'll do wonders at United. I really do. Up front, let's go to the right hand side first. I think it's Mason for me. Yeah. Fantastic season he's had. Scored a few goals, mate. 2-footed, very unpredictable, pacey, skillful. And he's shown he can handle. I think he's probably, for me, one of the first names on the team sheet at right hand side. Mum's gone for him as well. Diedrich, what are you going for?
Do you know what? If he'd had more than one season, I'd argue the go for Greenwood at number 9. But he's not quite ready yet on that one. So yeah, I'd put him on the right hand side. But I think, like I said many a time, if Sancho does come in, I don't think it'll be Sancho that will be fighting for the spot. I think he'll be fighting with Martial for that number 9 spot. Greenwood, that is.
Okay, all right. So who's your right hand side then?
It would be Greenwood for now.
Right, okay. So then, as number 9, then you're going Martial, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's interesting, mate, because I'd go Rashford as 9. I'd go Martial. I'd swap Rashford and Martial around. I really would. I just think Martial, for me, coming in from that left-hand side is more deadlier.
Well, I was thinking about this today. A lot of people say that Martial does his best work off the left, therefore we should play him on the left. I disagree with that in the sense that Thierry Henry, he did most of his best work coming in off that left-hand side, but he still played as a striker. He had Robert Pires on the left-hand side. So nobody was ever saying at the time, oh, look at Henry, he loves coming in on the left-hand side, play him as a left winger, even though he started there. as a left winger for Juventus and Monaco. So I think it's basically a thing for most French strikers to do, and especially that come through the Monaco setup. I think it's a thing where they come in off the left hand side, then try and always look for that curler. But I wouldn't be playing on the left hand side because it's harder to mark. If you got a number 9 and he's here in front of you, you can deal with that. You know, you get some defenders who literally, like, I've played against defenders who literally, the tighter you get to them, the better. And the ones that actually literally come out just to be on top of you. But if you're then cutting off the left, it's like, well, hold on a minute, who's marking him? I should be out there. So you pull all the centre backs out, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
A lot of time they tend to swap over anyway and go into that number 9. I think it's just a thing that you'll notice.
That's the best thing about this front three. It's so interchangeable for me. Each one of them can play as the number 9 in their own right. Yeah. We just seem to be. I mean, it's interesting. Dan James, who was bought as a right or a left-hand sider, is nowhere in the equation at the minute, and is trying to be used as an impact sub. But like St. Mark says, Dan James got man of the match last night, an assist. You know, Giggsy obviously sees something in him. I think. Let's have a look in the comments. Mark says Mason or Hugo. So Martin says Laird is excellent, especially attacking. He was top scorer in a younger team from right back. Akil says, I think we might see Matic, Popper and Bruno and Van der Beek start in the first game. Ollie might go for a diamond formation if Rashford can't recover in time. That's interesting as well, yeah. Yeah. Would you consider a diamond, Diedrich, with them four?
No, I don't like playing the diamond because I didn't like it when Van Gaal did it, because you limit your wing capacity, because you play one CDM here, you play 2 centre midfielders, then you play you play 10, then you play 2 forwards, but then there's no one coming in off that unless you're relying on, you're then expecting your width to come from the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams or Luke Shaw. Neither of them. As much as I do like Brandon Williams, I wouldn't be putting it on their backs to be the only male source of balls coming in from the wings. I didn't like it when Van Gaal did it because he was playing the likes of Di Maria at centre midfield, and I see Di Maria as a winger. So I wouldn't do. I definitely would not play a diamond. I think it's a horrible formation.
Well, Carly's adamant Sancho's still coming. Oh, mate, I'll believe it when I see it. Right. Akil says Martial's dangerous in front of goal. He is slowly becoming a proper number 9. Why change it now? I've just always seen him on the left. I can't get away from it. That he just plays better out the left hand side. He's better at taking people on. He's better running at a defence instead of playing with his back to goal. I don't know what the ratio is, what his life, when he's played as striker and he's playing off the left hand side. I just think he's more fearful on that left hand side.
Well, this is the thing, though. This has been his best goal scoring season, and he played at number 9.
So. Yeah. I mean, you got, when the stats say it, there's not really much room to argue. But I don't know. I just really like him. Well, he was bought. I think he was brought in as a left winger, wasn't he?
I don't know because Van Gaal actually played him more as a striker.
Yeah.
It was Mourinho who shifted him out wide. So we say Mourinho's first season he brought in Zlatan, and then he brought in fucking Lukaku. So he was never going to go for Martial, was
he? Akil says I don't think we have good enough fullbacks to play a diamond. Great point. Jamie says Martial is Firmino, but he's quicker and actually scores left vacant at the moment. I'm actually on mate. I thought that was a great comment there about the fullbacks and the diamond. Fantastic. So, Diedrich, the formation then for you. do you play it as what you said then? You're 4-2-1-3. You'd be quite happy going in with that,
Four,
your
two, one,
team?
three, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy with that. And the good thing about that is you can literally, it's so fluid. It is like a fluid formation that you can maybe drop it, change it into a diamond at the last minute, bring somebody off or stuff. It's not a major overhaul of a formation. It can be adaptive, and then like I said, those front three can all just literally. It can be a case of half an hour in one way, half an hour in another, and half an hour. Everyone has a go at number 9 sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So with your team then, where would you predict they would come in competitions and the league?
Oh, I think as much as I'm going to be happy if with 10 games to go, we're at least in with a shout and we're challenging. If we finish third or second and we've at least had a go and challenged and sure we're going in the right way, I can deal with that. I can't deal with. I don't think I'll be happy if we're fighting for top 4 again with 10 games to go. I will not be happy with that. So I think third. I'm really happy with third, especially with the likes of, like we said earlier on it before, the likes of Chelsea with the buying that they've done. They've literally just signed Havertz, who I think is a fantastic player. I'm really jealous on that one. So third, I think I'd be happy with quarterfinals, Champions League, and I want a trophy. So I'm going to say FA Cup. I want an FA Cup or. I would say Europa, not Europa League. What's other one? Worthington Cup, the League Carabao Cup, whatever it's called. I don't know whether I'd be happy with that.
What's your reaction to this, Diedrich? Right, because this fucking gets me in a really weird way. Right, anything less than the title. And Ollie should be sacked so fast that the door hits him on the way out. Right, that's from Kylie. What's your initial reaction to that?
Do you even want me to even?
I want you to answer because I'm going to give you my answer to that in a minute. So you go first.
I think that's the stupidest fucking comment that's actually been put in that live section thing. No offense, George, but I understand that people are going to want us to challenge for titles. And yes, we obviously, like I said, I want us to challenge for a title, but we're not ready for that yet. Even if you put Guardiola in charge or Klopp in charge of our first 11, they wouldn't even win the league with it. It's a process. As long as we challenge, and like I said, we're in with a shout, I can deal with those. Your standards will drop, but you also need to take an expectation of reality. Look at that starting 11. They are not good enough to win the Premier League yet. As much as we all like them, they're not good enough to win the Premier League yet. I want us to. If we challenge, that's more than thinking for me. I think this season, challenge, next season. If we don't, I think not this season, coming up, the season afterwards, I think that's when we judge Ollie. We go, right, you've had enough time, deliver.
Mate, I totally agree with that, but I'm going to go with what Akil says here. Where is it? Will be a good season if we get 85 points in a trophy. Don't care if we end up third or fourth with 70 points. Need to close the gap. I think that's
definitely.
I think that is probably one of the comments of the night. Closing the gap first and foremost.
Yeah.
Has got to be the aim. Whether that's first, second, third, or fourth, I think mathematically you've got to find a way to fucking shut down 25, 30 odd points.
Yeah. It's like heavyweight saying, it was a good season because we finished third. If we'd finished third, but we were only 5 points behind the likes of Liverpool and City, I'd say, yeah, that's okay-ish. It's not good enough to win a trophy, but I can deal with it. We finished third, but we were like, how many points behind City? Like 12, and then 30 away from Liverpool. And the other time when we did come close, when we got second, we were something like 30 points off City. Anyway, although we finished second, so it wasn't really a challenge. You know what I mean? That's why I say if with within 10 games left, if we're in with a shout for the title, I'll be happy.
Yeah. So long as we're in contention towards the back end of the season.
I
Yeah?
wanted to challenge for the title, but I'm also realistic. I don't want to challenge for top 4.
No, this is the thing for me. And again, Jamie brings up a great point here. We improved again in January when Bruno came in. We started off quite well. We had that dip. Bruno came in. Then we had to fucking stop. Then it restarted, and I think we finished strong. Cardiff, mate, I don't think every manager, right? Every top 6, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, United. The managers would probably say winning the title is the aim, but in reality, when you look at the squad, it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna do that, And again, it's like James said: if Ollie wins the league with that team as it is now, he should be knighted. He should be fucking statue outside Old Trafford. He should have everything. He should have a stand named after him, mate.
Listen, 8-year contract, go all out and Pardew on it.
Yeah, but there's no way. I mean, of course you say that to the press, don't you? Yeah, what's your aims this season? Well, we want to be challenging. Don't mean he believes it. It's just a PR stunt. You can't imagine what the papers will say. Oh, Man United manager says they're going to be challenging for top 4. It ain't gonna fucking, it won't wash. But for me, I think expectations. I don't think they'll win the league. Not with the squad as it is at the minute. I think the way Chelsea have bought and the way City are buying, I think they do very well to compete with second and third.
Yeah.
I think after the semi-final heartbreaks of the FA Cup and the League Cup, I think that team's good enough to go one better and to win either of those. I think in the Champions League is where they're going to come unstuck. I really do. And I've got a horrible feeling that, again, with that team now, I don't think they'll get out of the group stage. I really don't. It depends on what the group is, but I think they'll be knocked back down into Europa League. Because purely based on the fact that if you get 1 or 2 bad injuries to certain players, there's no cover.
Yeah.
And everyone knows how tough Europe is.
I think if we did get knocked into the Europa League, I'd rather us go out. I'd rather us go out as 4th in the group than 3rd. I'd rather us not go into the Europa League. I'm done with that competition now.
But it's like, Jamie says here, the way City are buying, they bought an average Ake and an unproven Torres. Like, that's still one more player than what we got at the minute. Plus, they've got a big enough squad.
They're on the verge of apparently tying up Koulibaly.
Yeah. They've got a much bigger squad than what we got. I don't think United have got a squad to compete in Europe.
With City's strength and depth, they can literally, they've got pretty much a starting 11 behind their 11.
Yeah, they've got 2 teams, don't they?
Yeah, they can pretty much challenge. Like we said, I think when I first came onto the show, I remember putting up a similar point, and you, me, and I can't remember who it was, Marcus. We said if you put our string players, our fringe players, into our starting lineup, the likes of Lingards, Pereiras, and fucking Igalos and everything, I reckon we'd probably be relegation fodder.
Probably would be, yeah. Arsenal playing their decent first 11, and they were hovering above it. For a fair few fucking weeks, mate. It was looking dangerous at one point. But yeah, I just think James says Van der Beek is better than them combined. Yeah, but the thing is, you're saying there Torres unproven. You'd have to say Van der Beek is unproven as well in the Premier League. So but at least Ake knows the Premier League, mate. That's another thing. If a guy gets injured by your Twanzebe, well, this is it. And is Twanzebe ready? No one knows because he's not had a chance at United yet.
Has he been injured? He's literally he's probably arguably had like a worse injury record than Phil Jones this season. I think Phil Jones has played more.
Yeah. Carly says Gary Neville said we would finish above Liverpool this season, and if we do, chances are we win the league. So why is Gary allowed to say it and me not? Carly, I never said me you couldn't say it. I'm just saying, do you actually believe it? I don't think Ollie actually believes it. If we take our post,
I don't think Liverpool will win the league. I think they've peaked.
Yeah, I think Liverpool's just a one-off winning that title. I don't see them winning it again.
I think they put so much into the last 2 seasons mentally. I think they've peaked.
Yeah, I think it'll be the usual suspects in the top 4 this season. I don't think Arsenal will get there. I think it'll be Chelsea, United, City, Liverpool. I just think that's the way it'll be. Right. Anything else you want to say, Diedrich? Any other news you want to touch on?
Entirely up to you, my friend. I mean, we could discuss the likes of Josh King, but I mean, I've got to be honest, I don't really want to. I'm already taking antidepressants. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. There's your mate, Black and Decker, wasn't there?
Paxton Daka. Yeah, Paxton Daka. Yeah, that's gone quiet now, though, isn't it?
It has. It's gone quiet. I think it was the change. Obviously, another of those things where Man United, like, we need to get. I need to get my player a move. Oh no, let's link Man United with him.
Well, Jamie says if Matic, Pogba, or Bruno gets injured, Van der Beek, McTominay, and Fred. Right, I would say to that. Jamie,
but the thing is, McTominay and Fred aren't good enough to get in.
Earth. The Van der Beek, McTominay, and Fred, are good enough to challenge for a title. We might. I mean, mate, we got shitloads of players. Don't get me wrong, shitloads of players, but they're crap.
Yeah, at least on Fergie, a lot of the times when players come in and stuff like that, you had the likes of your Park Ji-sung, your John O'Shea and stuff like that, who were exactly world beaters, but they could step in and do a job for a couple of games till someone got back in. But we were that strong of a team where you could have 10 world-class players and one person who's not so good. At the minute, if one player under Ollie, as much as I do love him, under our team, but if one player, we cannot carry one player at the minute. Our literally a team is everyone's either on form or we're all not.
Can you imagine, right? Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, all injured, right? And we line up the front 3, right? We line up the front 3 with Igalo, Dan James, and Mata. Right? Ugh. Can that fucking score goals, mate? Not a chance. Not a chance. And this is what I mean. We got. I'm not. No. James
I think the intelligence is there, but the legs aren't.
Yeah. So I'm not saying with Tommy, Fred, and Van der Beek are crap. I'm saying, like, if you look at if you go past our first team, right, the quality of players there some of them's awful. Some of them are awful. Mata, awful. Legs gone. Pereira, not that good. Can't do it. Phil Jones, out the door. Delo's not being played. Get rid of him. Lingard, what's his use? Out the door. There's 5 players there. And then you think to yourself, right, okay. And I mean, he says here that Sancho signs, we won't have that problem. One player ain't going to solve 3 positions. It's, people hang on Sancho, Diedrich, for me, like he's the be all and end all. And I think
he's right in what he's saying. We do need more depth up front. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, Ollie said that, though. That's the thing. Ollie has said that. He's looking to get players in for squad depth. Yeah. He's not looking at blowing his transfer kitty on one player. And that's come from his mouth. Chris says we need to sell a load of Deadwood. Some have been sold, more need to go. I mean, Lee Grant, what's he hanging on for? We don't need him. Get rid of him.
Smalling's on the verge of joining Roma for €14 million plus add-ons. Vero's going to Villa. There's just a couple more, but it's like, but then you start looking at the likes of, like I said, your Lingards and your Pereiras who are on quite big money contracts. I mean, I think Lingard's on over 100 grand a week. Who's going to be stupid enough to match those wages?
Colin says, "How dare you? Igalo is a Nigerian." Jamie says, "Then it'll be Greenwood, Igalo, James will be if it's Sancho comes in." Yeah, but again, you're missing something here, mate. Igalo's got in 3 months.
Yeah,
that's another problem. Yeah, I keep saying it. I try not to be disrespectful or anything like that, but I just think people need to look at a bigger picture in terms of the squad. Names and star names coming in is one thing, but I think when you want to play in all these competitions, you need squad depth. And I think Ollie's spot on. Being in the Champions League, they need quality squad depth now. It's not about signing that star fucking Galactico player. It's got to be quality squad depth. Chris says we need to improve both the first team and bench. This is done by bringing in first team quality and benching some of our first team, making a better bench. I think, yeah, again, spot on. You don't have that first 11, whatever that first 11 is, and then see your backups as Pereira, Mata, fucking Fred, Phil Jones or whoever, Romero, as good as he is as a backup goalie. You've got to improve on it year in, year out. Akil says Igalo's contract expires in January. What if we end up in the same position as last year where Martial's injured and we don't have a striker? I don't want to see
that's where Josh
coming in January. Well, Akil, I mean, again, great point. But
I think Greenwood, I think that's when Greenwood would literally be like, right, come on, you'll be playing at number 9, which then means you've now got to find cover for Greenwood's position if we don't bring in somebody.
This is why I stress the importance of a striker. They need a striker desperately.
I think if we brought in 2 right wingers, which isn't going to happen, I'd probably be more happy with that. I mean, obviously, I want Sancho. Not going to lie, I really want him. But if we could also bring in somebody else as well, quite cheap, and then almost like let it be known that Greenwood is second striker, I'd rather that. So, like I said earlier on the show, I believe that Greenwood's ultimate position will be as a number 9. I believe that he will be coming for Martial's shirt, if not this season, definitely next.
James says with Sancho, Greenwood drops to the bench, and he can be our bench option. Yeah, that's if he comes. It's not being negative or anything, mate. It's just the facts. If he comes, I think, if you've got a player that's wanting to play for Manchester United, you don't carry on. And it's like George says, we've got Dan James to fill in as well. So yeah, it's not being negative or anything. It's just assessing all the options and I read Gary Neville's comment yesterday. He's saying United need another 3, 4, 5 quick signings because they've got to take into account if they're bringing someone in from abroad, depending on where they're coming from, make the quarantine for 2 weeks. We kick off 2 weeks this weekend. So this is the thing. They're on a fucking time limit. They're really pressed for time at the minute. Akil says, would you have Bale on loan for a year if Sancho deal doesn't go through? I think situation, yeah, I would.
Yeah, Coleman.
I would. Yeah, I think if it's a loan for a year to get Sancho, yeah.
Imagine that though, if we could somehow get Coleman on a deal on a loan to buy for relatively cheap, and then get Sancho as well.
Yeah.
Next season, I'd be happy with that.
Jamie don't want Bale. Chris says, hell no at Bale. He can't be fucking stay injury free.
Ooh.
George Carl says Tongi was a really weird one, signing a new contract and straight out on loan. Chris says, not trying to be negative, but Van der Beek this summer is well short. We need to push on. We do. I totally agree with it. We need at least 3 bodies, 3 quality bodies in that team.
Do you know? I'm going to say, do you know what? It's a shame that Gareth Bale is so injury prone. Because I tell you what, if we could get a fully fit Gareth Bale with a point to prove on loan and like not stupid wages like when he's on at Real Madrid, I'd take that in a heartbeat. But it's just the fact of, for a fact, as soon as we did sign him on loan, he'd get fucking injured. He's done like 8 months without being injured.
I think if Ollie said to him, mate, you're a bench option for the season, I think he'd take that, just to get back playing. He's not played one game at Madrid, is he? Really?
No, it's a shame, really. But I mean, I say it's a shame as if he's crying bloody poverty. He's living in sunny old Spain and fucking playing for me there, isn't
he? Yeah, that's
poor bugger.
Right,
let's wrap that up. Newcastle.
Done nearly an hour, so let's wrap it up. Thanks for joining, then, Diedrich. Pleasure as always, mate. Enjoy your company. Chris says Bale would be class if he could stay fit. Now he seems like he couldn't be asked and rather play golf for the rest of the year. Akil says a fully fit Bale will be fantastic. We'll have to give him a golf course and he'll be happy. Mate, give him a house with golf. And if anyone wants to come on the shows, whenever we do them. Jamie says he's done with the Glatco. I mean, Jamie, Akil, Chris, Martin, Mark, Kylie, you're more than welcome to come on. All you got to do is just DM one of us, mate, and we'll get you on the show.
We'll always try and give you at least 30-minute warning before we go live anywhere. Or if need be, if you're one of the viewers that's come over from TikTok, leave a message on one of the videos. Oh,
that's a good point, actually, Diedrich. Do you want to? It's your thing, the TikTok thing. Do you want to mention it and what you're doing?
So I've started up the Real United Talk TikTok. I'm going to be doing a 60-second roundup every single day. I'm going to be trying to get through as much news as I possibly can in 60 seconds. So, don't expect big, long videos like this. It literally is a case of we've been linked with this player, this has happened, that sort of thing. But it's a good bite-sized little teaser for just the people that do enjoy this content and just want a little bit more.
Okay, brilliant. So follow us on TikTok. Diedrich's the main man on social media at the minute, doing his Twitter and TikTok. I think Mark's doing Facebook side of things, isn't he? Doing something with Facebook.
Mark's in charge of that side.
Yeah, so Jamie says he's a kid, so he might sound squeaky. Jamie, it doesn't matter, mate. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to come on, mate, and have a chat, providing it's a sensible thing, sensible discussion, it's fine. It's not a problem. All you got to do is just DM me, DM Diedrich, Ross, Rodney. One of us will get back to you. It's not a problem.
Just follow us. Just give us a message on it.
Yeah, I mean, how to get hold of us. Chris said he'd be interested in some time. That'd be great. Casey, you should be in bed.
Well, there.
So thanks everyone for joining. Hope you enjoyed it. Pleasure as always doing it. Thanks to Diedrich for doing everything that he's doing to get involved. Diedrich, do we have Instagram?
I'm going to be trying to set that up over the weekend. I've got a lot of minute trying to manage two sides of it. I'm managing Twitter, I'm managing TikTok at the minute. I don't want to be taking on more than I can chew. And I'm also running my own YouTube channel as well, which is a bit difficult.
Well, do you want to mention that? What you're doing on there?
Oh yeah, well if you'd like to come and join, straight after stream, I'm going to be streaming Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 4. I always forget my own name on YouTube. That's on my David Riggs. It's probably here along the bottom. Just come across. Marcus will be in the comments. He better be. A few other people will be involved as well. So
people see that. There he is. That's his channel. All right.
Just don't be expecting a professional setup like this. It's just me, my bedroom, and my PS4.
Right, brilliant. Right, thanks for everyone for joining in. Thanks for the great comments, Diedrich. Fantastic as always. I think Ross and Rodney are doing something Sunday, so tune in for that as well. And speak to you all soon. Bye.